Hello again, this is Charlie Belfontaine, and you're listening to the HomeBuyer's Hour on WCPT AM 820, where the facts matter. My happiest place to be, and I have my two favorite people.
For some reason, they make me take out my shoelaces when I walk in. I don't know why that is either.
Because you're crazy. And I love it. Patrick, tell us about your company. How do people get hold of you, please?
I'm Patrick Loftus. I'm a real estate lawyer. You find me on social media, Instagram, Loftus_law. On TikTok, Loftus Law.
And Joey Matthews, if you don't mind, give us your details.
Yes, sir. Joey Matthews, the VA Loan Nerd. You can find me at theVALoanNerd.com. You can find me driving around in a Cybertruck. Driving around in a Cybertruck. It's wrapped in VA Loan Nerd nerdiness. You can find me on all the social medias as at VA Loan Nerd. You can feel free to call or text me at 630-235-2405. You can find me. You can find me watching the markets right now and watching the 10-year Treasury dip a little bit, which is a nice change of pace from what we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
So hot.
We're watching the MBS mortgage-backed securities climb, but it's good for your rates.
I like how he gets into it. Like,
I know, it's scary, though.
Just vibing.
Yeah.
Just vibing.
No, it's fun. We have a good time. Are we talking about me or Devin? Is Devin just sitting back there, like, feeling himself, or what?
No, Devin is not. But he's playing the most awkward music for you.
I disagree. I think that fits the bill. I think
Charlie gives me the cue for music, then throws me under the bus when he complains about his own problem. It's Frankenstein getting mad at Dr. Frankenstein mad at the monster for burning down the town.
Exactly.
Darn right.
Exactly.
Absolutely, I am.
It's disgraceful behavior on your part, Charlie, and I hope that you think about this on your way home from the studio and about your behavior and how you might be able to modify it.
Patrick, you're the host now. I'm turning Charlie off the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Wait,
All
don't.
right, let's talk about anything but real estate. Fantasy football. Call in. I'll tell you who you should start, who you should sit, and who you should have got on the waiver wire. All right.
Right now, you got a whole lot of people that wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning that are rolling their eyes like, fantasy football. What's that?
I mean, the market for fantasy football chat is so much higher than real estate chat. I can't even tell you.
And that actually would probably be one of the better shows if we could do it on a Sunday morning. We would definitely get more listeners coming in.
Hey, all right. Sure. Brought to you by Spud Light. It's different than the other one that you're thinking of. Not as tasty.
But, and I want to introduce my business. I don't get to do that too often, usually at the end. But my name is Charlie Belfontaine, and I own Chicagoland Home Inspectors. And one of the things that I've been working on recently is trying to help people when they're buying a house before they actually sign an agreement to purchase a home. And what I mean by that is I want people to reach out to me with photos, issues when you're looking for a home. I do this stuff for free. I want you to send me pictures, ask me questions, do whatever it takes. Our website is www.thehomeinspectors.com. And I got Patrick Loftus laughing at me right now for doing that because I got a feeling he thinks, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it.
Send me pictures. Get me on Snapchat.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize it sounds like that. No, send me pictures of defects in homes. Let me be specific.
Oh, my God.
What? I know where your mind is.
You're such a home defect pervert.
I am. It's like, you give me a improperly sloped gutters, and that's porn. Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that. Devin, can I say porn on the radio? I can.
He's literally
he already did.
I did.
He's writing
3
down
times.
the timestamps I think he's got 4 or 5 already. We're already in violation of all the rules.
We can't be, though, because right now I think we have the worst record of everybody, and they're going to ban us sooner or later. So
No, our money's good.
You'd be very surprised.
I would, wouldn't I?
I mean, they still let Larry broadcast from time to time. No, we got rid of Larry. It's a shame.
So this morning, Patrick, we were chatting about.
We didn't get any of the
problems.
info from Joey about the market and rates and all that. We just stepped all over him.
That is
I did it while we were
important,
doing
isn't
our saxophone. I talked about that directly. It's just that you were so entranced by my baritone that you're just like, oh man, okay, what's he talking about? I don't care. I just want to cuddle.
So rates are way down, like 4.5. Cuddle.
No.
I bet you're a good big spoon, Joey. I'll tell you what. You're.
Oh my gosh, among the best, I would argue.
You're a lanky gentleman who
No,
would big spoon with the best of them.
there's that. There's that. I run hot. So no, the mortgage-backed security market is it's a flat week, right? I really just no major data. Tomorrow we have jobless claims and retail sales. That's it. So right now we've seen a little bit of improvement. Nothing to really move the needle on an actual eighth for rate, but it's better than it was yesterday, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Improvement, no matter how little it is a good thing.
Honestly,
So-
consistency is a good thing because it helps people plan for the future. I mean, if I'm sitting there thinking, well, rates might go down, in X, hello, I lost. Oh, in so many months or whatever, they're going to be hesitant to get out there and do something. I have no data for what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like at least for the next 3 weeks or so, things will probably be pretty quiet just because so much of the space in the room, so to speak, is being taken up by the election. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, there's certainly no data, but I wish there was. Right? It'd be helpful.
That's my future prediction. So, Joey, please give us yours so that I know what is not going to happen, please.
Well, rates aren't moving. I mean, it's just they're just not going to. There's going to be the last several elections have done the exact same thing. People sit and they're like, "Oh, well, my guy's oh my gosh, my father-in-law right now is killing me, absolutely killing me. He's all doom and gloom about the election, and it's driving me up a wall."
A lot of us
yeah.
are.
I am too. I mean, if that person becomes president, my life is going to be ruined. Now, what do you think about that being politically correct, huh?
Well, here's the thing: you're a middle-aged.
I just
You're
got
a middle-aged white guy. Actually, your life probably will get better, unfortunately, at the expense of a lot of people, which is
I didn't
why.
say who would win, did I?
We know who you were talking about. I mean, look, all of our social media feeds, to the extent that we are or aren't on it, is being taken up by a lot of political stuff, as opposed to in 3 weeks' time. Well, shoot, I'm too optimistic. In 3 weeks' time, we will have another thing that happens, and then all of the things are going to happen after that, and then maybe sometime in March of next year, everyone will just be resigned to the what the next 4 years are going to look like. So we only have about 6 months left of being tortured.
I actually got to look at the schedules and when they're open, but I know that early voting did start at the courthouses in Cook County already, and I plan on going to the Skokie one this weekend and getting my vote casted.
Yeah, for those of you who are looking to vote early, each precinct has its own. No, not each precinct, but each area,
court, yeah.
a group of precincts will have a specific site to vote early, or if you find yourself downtown, at some point, there's a super site where anyone registered in Chicago, I believe, can vote. It's right at Lake and Clark. So, just a little PSA there. But anyways, okay, Joey, we love to interrupt you because you're not in the room, and it's just easy to.
Dude, it's so much fun. I love hearing it. Let's go.
I love my own voice. It's nice. It's a good one. What else do we need to know about rates and markets and
Man, not to repeat myself from last week, but at the end of the day, again, the market will move up, the market will move down. It's going to happen over time. It's going to happen forever. Get used to the roller coaster because we're all riding on it together. It makes sense to buy when you're ready. That's the only thing I'll say about it, because that's all that matters, is that you're ready.
Yeah. Focus on you and your family's needs.
Yep.
And the rest will fall into place as far as the dollars and cents of it. Charlie, what were you were about to say something?
Me? I'm never about to say anything important. That's
you want
always
to tell
for
us
sure.
what you're texting people?
No, I'm not, but
share with
somebody
the group?
is always trying to reach me. No, I was thinking, when the rates are going down, I find that's when our business is the slowest. And then I look at the home inspection business and I look at our window of opportunity, which is really only that 5 business day window where somebody goes ahead and puts a contract or, submits a contract and gets it signed. And the point that they have to finish all their attorney contingencies, home inspector contingencies, get all the paperwork. So they have to find a home inspector, choose a home inspector, have the home inspection done, get the report, decipher the report, talk to the attorney or real estate agent, put a plan of action together. All this happens in 1 week, 5 business days.
Can I propose an alternative?
Please.
So I think that's certainly the the process. You've just described what the steps are in the process. But I think that if you've demonstrated value out there and people have seen you, I think that their decision could already be made before any of that happens, right? So
But they don't see me. That's my problem.
you don't know that. If you're on, let's say you're consistently posting on social media and you're posting things that are features that things that you have to offer, right? What is it about you? What is Charlie Bellefontaine? What is Chicagoland Home Inspectors about?
We are the best loose toilet finders in the world.
Tell you what, I would maybe workshop
How do you respond to that?
I would workshop that slightly because I'm not sure.
But people don't think about home maintenance. They don't think about buying a home until they're ready to buy the home. They don't think about their risk when buying a house. It's such an emotional process that people go in there, and this was explained to me by real estate agents, and it actually makes sense. You got to fall in love with the house, and then you go ahead and sign an agreement for 30 years of your life that you're committing to something, and you did that, you visit a house for 15 minutes 2 or 3 times, if that. So a half hour, 45 minutes, and you're making a 30-year commitment.
Well,
Sounds crazy.
Well, I guess, but I mean, you're in a very important process, and
I agree.
The due diligence is part of it. But I'm not in the market to buy a home, but I do get home inspector content in my social media feeds, and the ones who
That's
I think
all because you like my arch enemy.
yeah, possibly.
He does, Joey.
One of these days.
He loves them.
I
Loves
know he
them.
does.
I want to get a shirt with his logo on it just because I'll wear it every week in here. But
And you won't wash it either because I know you're in love with him.
Well, I mean, he's his thin hair.
Dupayash is the word you're looking for.
His thin hair and
Dupayash.
his really crappy beard, just very attractive. Smug attitude. But he's showing interesting stuff. He's like, check this out. This is what we're looking at. This is why it's not good. This is what you need to be careful out there with. And I find that interesting. Now, I happen to be
But you're in the real estate
and around
business.
the real estate business. But
Yeah.
okay, so every time you are in front of someone and they go, oh, interesting, or oh, that guy again, or oh, all of a sudden they find themselves in the process of buying a home, and what's their agent going to ask them? Hey, do you have a home inspector in mind? If not, here's who I recommend. But if the answer to that question is, oh yeah, you know what, the Chicagoland Home Inspectors, I've seen them on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and I like them. I'm going to go with them.
But that's my point right there is, if you're in real estate, let's say it's Joey here. He's in mortgages. He's in real estate. So everything that the algorithms are going to do are going to feed him real estate stuff. It's going to feed you that. It's going to feed real estate agents that, right? So, and I get it. 80% of referrals that come to the home inspection profession do come from the real estate agent community. All right, I get that. They're the ones that get to meet the client first. They build a solid relationship with it of trust, and they can go ahead and refer people. All right, but most real estate agents I don't mesh with. All right, I am very big on trying to give as much education and knowledge to somebody buying a house as possible, so they can make an intelligent decision. Right, and that is frowned upon by not everybody. There are real estate brokers that have a mindset that I do, but it is frowned upon other people. So that's not really the audience that I want. I want somebody who's a researcher. I want somebody who's going to do that. But they don't research the solution to a problem until the problem arises.
Here's the beauty of social media and the algorithms. The algorithms are built to show you what you want to see.
You do know you're
right?
talking to a boomer here, so slow in
Okay.
little words.
Do you know that thing that you have in your pocket? It's called an iPhone.
I just turned it off.
Yeah, thank goodness, because you're going nuts on it. But when you pull up Facebook, your favorite social media platform, and you start looking at stuff, okay, it's on what you're clicking on, what you're doing there, okay? Now, people don't just go, hey, I'm going to buy a house. And then the very next day, they go and they sign a contract, and then they go, oh, no, I have 5 business days to find an inspector. No, it's a process, right?
Yeah.
They have a conversation with their spouse, and they go, we could really use some extra room, or hey, let's expand our family, or so on and so forth. And so their interests begin to evolve in a sense, because now that seed's been planted in their mind, and what the algorithm is designed to do is to nurture that seed so that it grows and because it's constantly probing your little brain cells to figure out stuff that's going to make you stay on that platform. If I've suddenly kind of have it in my mind I might want to buy a home, all of a sudden the stuff that I was not looking at very carefully, all of the realtor crap, all of the whatever it is suddenly interesting to me, right?
Well, and I get all that. And Joey, I think you and I are kind of in the same boat in that small window of opportunity. So I wouldn't mind hearing your 2 cents on this. But the question is, and if there is a marketing guru out there that could come and coach me on this, I would really appreciate it. But I just don't see that happening. I've been on the Book of Face many years, all right? I've been doing this business for over 30 years. And, for me, when you start marketing on Facebook, it's always because you have a product or service that somebody doesn't really know that they want or need, and you're sitting there trying to keep reminding them that they want your product and come in there. But in my situation, I don't have that. And I don't know how to collect or gather that information so people that are looking for houses, while they're at that stage, that I'm going to go ahead and become an algorithm.
Well, I mean, that's market research. So, you and I, we don't have the kind of budget, or maybe I don't know if you do or not, to hire a firm to do extensive market research. I mean, maybe you'd want to do that because that would help you instead of kind of, chucking spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
But that's all the same. It's all the same. It's the, you got plumbers. Let's take that for example, all right? You got plumbers that you're going to see a ton of advertising on billboards as you're driving up and down 294. And then you got a single-man plumber that's going to be driving an old beat-up truck. They may both do great work. I don't know. All right, but one spends a lot of money advertising. They're going to be more expensive where it comes with it. The other person's going to be single, and they may not do any advertising. So how do you find the right person at the right time is my hard thing. I'll let Joey chime in. I mean, heard from him.
It's tough, man. Like I it's especially with that your specific line of work. I mean, it's oh my gosh, finding the right person at the right time, the marketing, and obviously you know how I feel about certain companies and the amount of money they spend on marketing.
And here's another one for you, Joey. You bring up a really good point. You're competing with those big companies. They don't have your ethics. They don't follow through with everything that you do. Yet, so how do you get in front of the right client? And not only that, but you only have that 5-day window. How do you tell somebody why you're more valuable than the people that are advertising?
Can you? It's tough because I mean, essentially, what you're doing is. I don't want to say mudslinging, but you have to figure out a way to show your value. So without mudslinging, I'll be like, I do save a lot of loans from, this company with fallout from time to time, right?
Yeah.
And it's It's so hard because I don't want to be the guy who's just like, hey, work with me because the other guys suck, right? I don't want to. I don't like negative energy. I don't like throwing negative energy into the universe because then bad things happen to you.
Yeah.
That's me being a hippie.
No,
But
it's also Mrs. Molesky in the
Joey's-
third grade.
Joey's been to therapy.
All right, we don't point fingers because there's 3 of those bad boys coming back to you, and she's probably dead by now, but thank you, Mrs. Molesky. I still remember that from when I was 9 years old.
So there's a way to do that that's not negative, though, and the way I typically handle sort of the comparison or the contrast is I just say, look, I don't really have any comments about how another attorney handles their business. This is how I do it. And, it's different than what you experienced, but I think it's better. So, you're not putting anyone down because, for all I know, that other attorney is just as good, and they're, even though they have a different process, they also know what they're doing. I'm going to allow for the idea that there's perhaps more than one way to skin a cat, for most things. But again, I'm gonna keep trying to make the same point over and over again, and that is, if you fancy yourself the right person to hire, right? I know both you, Charlie, Joey, you guys believe that you're providing the better service, the best service. You're proud of your process. You're proud of how you do things, and so
Absolutely.
where you're coming from is a place where it's like, I need people to find me so that they don't get stuck with those other guys. Okay, and whether or not that's a positive or a negative, you know in your heart of hearts what's good, what's not so good for the consumer, and you're trying to help them avoid making a bad choice.
Yeah.
And part of that, why do they choose those other ones? It's because they're visible. It's because they are out there. They have a name. They have, something about them. I think you called it a brand earlier,
Yeah.
and that's a big part of it. Joey, why do people see your truck out and about in Phoenix and walk into your office asking for the VA loan nerd, right? It's not because anything about that truck conveys anything other than you're a dope who paid $125,000 for a crappy truck.
So,
no.
someone's assuming things here.
No.
I would never pay that amount of money for a truck.
And dopey?
Well,
But dope. No doubt.
but they see that and they go, I'm interested. Let me find out more about that. Really, and the most basic principle here is visibility. That guy who's a really good plumber, who has a beat up truck and is just waiting on people to give him a call, or has a loyal group of customers, they're happy where they're at, and whether they're good, and they're like I described myself earlier today. I'm basically a freelancer who fancies himself a business person. You guys are running businesses more so than what I'm doing. And so, some people want to be in that space. They'd rather just sort of have a comfortable lifestyle. They make enough money and it's good. And other people want to run a business. Now, you're kind of at that confluence of I want to help everybody, and also I want to have a strong bottom line.
Yeah.
And
We all wake up in the morning to make money.
We
And
do.
that's not a sin.
we do, but
All right.
some businesses are strictly looking out for their shareholders, whereas you're looking out
True.
for the shareholder as well as the customer, which is and your employees.
And the employees,
Wh-
absolutely.
Which is very much it's an old school mentality in the sense that
Horrible business.
Jack Welch ruined it for all of us, and
Yeah.
I can go into that, but that's another show entirely. That's the one that sign is made for. A mindless worker is a happy worker. Anyways,
No, I got you,
that's
but I
a
don't want
great
that.
visual for radio.
My whole thing is I want people that are passionate. When I go and recruit, people to join our company, here's a dirty little secret, all right? I don't care how much knowledge about building sciences they have. I don't care, all right? I could teach that. I could share that.
That makes you different.
That does make me different because a lot of people think the more you know when it comes to building science, that the more valuable you become, and that is true.
Let me be a little more cynical, if I may. They don't want to put the time, energy,
There it
resources,
is.
and money into training someone. if they can hire a plug and play inspector into that business, that's easy mode. They're good.
But easy mode doesn't work. All
Works
right,
for
I don't
them.
care what anybody says. You need to. Here's my solid advice to every human being out there. I'm going to say it really loud and proud. Watch the Untouchables. Watch all the Godfathers. That's how you live life and run a business. All right, it's plain and simple. We got more toilet stuff here.
Goodness gracious. I don't even.
No, the
Where
Untouchables.
are we
When
going
he
with
said,
this?
"How do I find somebody who's not corrupt?" You gotta get them before they fall off the tree. All right. So, what are you really looking for? What makes a good quality person to work under your name? I want somebody who's empathetic and passionate about helping another human being in probably one of the biggest decisions that they make. And Joey, don't lie to me. Tell me you feel exactly the same.
Objection.
No objection. It's not a leading question.
Leading the witness. Argumentative
Oh my God.
question. Oh my God! If this were a deposition, I would be.
Well, this is my witness,
on
so
the
I can
phone.
go ahead and do it. This is not a cross-examination. And
Man,
yes, I
oh
watch
man,
Matlock
Shavitz.
too. I'm talking about the old Matlock, not the new
Nah,
one.
you're a new Matlock person.
I will
Good,
be.
the good new stuff.
Gross.
I didn't even realize they were remaking that. That's just ridiculous.
Not at all.
The-
She's
it-
awesome.
it
That was
is-
the lady who broke the guy's legs. I forgot the name of that movie.
Oh God.
Oh no!
Um,
Here we go. I'm gonna think of it now.
Yeah. No, it's
James Caan.
oh God. You
I
know,
want to say Deliverance, but that's fiddle
not
playing.
Deliverance.
No,
No,
God,
that's something else.
Yeah, that's
Squeal like a pig.
Alabama.
I
Yeah.
think West Virginia actually.
It might-
Misery.
whatever.
Yeah, that
Same
is
thing.
it. That is it. Misery.
But seriously, Joey, you're
It is misery. That's right.
Misery.
Credit to Devin. I didn't just think
Yeah.
of that myself. He put it under the mean thing that is there that I can't say.
But Joey, you look for people that are going to be crossing T's, dotting I's. You want to make
Yeah.
sure that when somebody that and tell me I'm wrong. I'll listen.
I had someone get a loan tonight on my team, and I fired him.
Whoa.
And it's
That's
because
kinda, now I think right away, just by hearing only that, I think that's kind of harsh. Give me more detail.
So-
Did you say don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you?
Well, it's
Because if you
it's-
didn't, you should.
It's because it was their fault. At the end of the day, it was their fault. Someone lost the house. Agents lost commission, which I care less. Well, I care about the agents getting paid.
Careful.
I know. I care about the agents getting paid because there's everyone's life involved, right? It's
There's
a
a
seller's
lot
life,
of
it's a
people.
buyer life. So if you're not going to care enough at the time that you're issuing a pre-approval to have everything done, and you're going to get this person denied, and now is the seller contingent on their sale? Did they just lose a house? Like, this is a whole calamity of errors based on you not doing your job up front. I'm stopping myself from swearing repeatedly right now.
It's
I
a
love
lot
it.
of work that goes into it for a lot of us,
But you
and
can't
only
teach
Charlie
that.
gets paid.
But you can't teach that. That's the whole thing. You can't teach somebody to want to put the effort in to do exactly what you do, Joe.
All right, let me bring this.
You can't teach replication because I can teach them how to issue strong pre-approvals. I
Yeah.
can't teach them to do it every single time, right?
care
That's the
enough to.
commitment. Exactly.
That's the
God
passion that
darn-
I'm talking about.
Look, let me bring it back around because I think we've kind of ventured off the topic. The topic was how do I enter people's consciousness at exactly the right time, and I've been trying
Oh,
to
right, yeah.
I've been trying to put forth the hypothesis that that's too narrow of a goal in my opinion. You're gonna miss the mark there. It's like having a little tiny bullseye you have to hit every time, and I don't think you want to try to thread that needle each time. I don't think you're going to be able to do it with enough consistency to make it worth your time. I think instead you as the person who I just heard all of the passion that you have for serving the public, making sure that people who hire you have a good experience, have all of the knowledge that they need to make a good decision about buying a home. You want to be able to connect with the customers in a better way, in more often and more frequently, and in a way that leads them to want to hire you because they should hire you instead of someone that doesn't have those core beliefs in their minds in their mindset. I think rather than trying to nail that, because honestly, you don't have 5 business days. You have 1 or 2 after the signing of the contract.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier, the planting of the seed of the idea that I think I'm interested in buying a house should then lead them to start interacting, engaging more with content that is going to lead to you, right? I'm buying a house. Oh, now I'm clicking on listings that are on my Facebook news feed. I don't even go on Facebook.
But they don't have listings on there, do they?
Absolutely, absolutely. The realtors are always posting that stuff, and as they go through their news feed and they see stuff and they go, "Oh, that's interesting. I like that." All of a sudden, they've clicked on someone's listing. Now the algorithm. All right. I mean, next time you're scrolling, if you haven't noticed this and you've clicked on something or you've expanded, where it's like it gives you the little preview and you want to read more, or you've watched a whole video through, you start to see more of that stuff, right?
I know. I call that clickbait, and it drives me nuts when I click on stuff
Right,
I
'cause
really
you feel
don't
like-
want to know, and I got tricked.
You feel like this website's manipulating what you see, and you want more freedom and autonomy. And I got bad news for you. I clicked. Devin's gonna laugh at me. I clicked on those Crocs that they're selling on TikTok. They're like TikTok exclusive. Oh wow, you've got a different algorithm than I do. Well, I clicked one time on those. Oh my! Every third TikTok that I see is the TikTok exclusive Crocs. God forbid. Or the gimbal. I clicked on a gimbal one time. You know what gimbal is? It's one of these things you put your camera in
thing,
and it stabilizes again. One time. Months ago, I already bought a gimbal months ago, and every 10th TikTok is an ad for some knockoff gimbal. Actually, I got like the nice name brand one, but in any event, this is what I'm talking about. That's where you want to enter their consciousness is when that seed has just been planted. Because now, I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 of Chicagoland home inspectors, reels, and I think that guy knows what he's talking about, and now you have the visibility that you need. You're no longer the plumber in the beat up truck. You're somewhere in between him and the one on the billboards, the one who is advertising during every sporting event, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And so you don't necessarily, you're not looking to scale to the level of a company that is advertising in that way. I mean, they've got their advertising budget's probably several times my annual income, and it's not necessary unless you want to be at that scale. I won't speak for you, but that visibility is going to that's the foot in the door for you to be a candidate to be hired. Mm-hmm. So it's not. I would posit actually that it's too late by the time, unless they are doing extensive research within that time frame, within that 1 to 2 days, because they at that point know nothing about home inspectors, don't know who they would hire, and they don't trust their realtor. So those, a lot of those people are finding you and hiring you because they see what you have to offer in that regard. I would say that if you can sort of not weasel, but weasels and worms. Which one's better? Worm your way into their consciousness.
They're both accurate, I guess.
No comment. If you can, get yourself in their consciousness before then, now you're a candidate to be hired, and you're kind of in pole position, in my opinion, because what other home inspector has any visibility other than maybe buying Google ads or some
Yelp.
Other
There's another one.
Yelp or one of these other ones. It's I don't know enough about that space to say whether or not it's ripe for.
That's the vast majority of our marketing, But we do that because, and I am trying to grow this business. All right, I do have a goal, and it may be audacious. All right, but I want to have 50 inspectors in this company. Right now we're at 15, right? But it's important to me not to risk our reputation. When we start looking at all the different social medias or social proof, I guess, is what it is, we got over 1,800 5-star reviews, right? We got 1 3-star review. That's our worst review that we come in there. We got 2 4-star reviews, that's in there as well. But that's nearly, 1,800, like I said. And people tend to choose us because of what they read by what other people have said. And
There's a lot of data to be mined. Have you ever
Yeah.
taken that and tried to extract some of the common themes there? Like, I hired them because of X or whatever.
long list, thoroughness,
you know,
more tools,
I mean-
follow up. What I do with those Zoom calls are huge. I thought it was just a way for me to stay involved in the business. Honestly, I was.
To creep on your inspectors.
And I'm not gonna, absolutely. I don't know if somebody's making mistakes doing inspections if I don't hear from the client on what they told them. I mean, I don't know what they missed. I don't know what they found or how they explained it to people. But when I get that feedback from the client, now I could go ahead and correct mistakes. The whole idea is to be accurate as we can, put things in the proper perspective. I get all that. And that's where I was going with the untouchables. I want to find somebody who wants to have that passion to do like Joey looks for, cross the T's, dot the I's. Same thing with you. You want, your helpers or assistants to be initiative, help people get things going, find the problem, fix the problem. You don't want it, you can't do all that yourself. You want to try and replicate a lot of that stuff, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I hear what you're saying. I want to open that window up. So instead of 1 week, I want to see if I could get it for maybe 3 months. All right, if I could get to the person right when they're looking, so if they're searching Zillow, they're searching Realtor.com, let's start advertising on those things. But then again, instead of just doing, branding marketing where it's name recognition, because I want people to choose us because they know we're their best choice. All right. I want to be able to help people avoid also signing an agreement on a house that you're not going to buy. What good is it if we walk in there and you don't want to buy a house that has a 20-year-old roof and a 25-year-old furnace and, leaky water in the foundation? You're not willing to accept those things. So why not recognize it before we get to that point so that you don't even put an agreement down? And that's the platform that I've been working on and trying to develop right now.
Well, maybe it should be a matter of, hey, you can actually hire me before you go under contract, and
and again,
now I'm sort of
nobody's gonna
on
pay for
retainer.
that. But nobody's going to pay for that. I would rather give it away for free. I would rather answer these questions. And be careful what you wish for, because you might be overwhelmed with all these emails and texts. I get that. All right, that is a little bit scary, that I won't be able to provide what I'm promising to provide. All right, because that's just going to make people angry.
Well, I mean, whether or not people would pay for that, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna pay for an inspection one way or the other.
Yeah.
I suppose if it was me, and I unfortunately I am not your target audience because I know too much about this stuff. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna buy a house. It's not a matter of if, but when. And I'm gonna buy an inspection, and why wouldn't I just pay to have this guy on call, essentially, to look stuff up for me, and find things beforehand. I mean, shoot, wouldn't it be nice if I could just hey, I like this, but there's I'm wondering about that crack in the concrete. Let me FaceTime old Charlie and show him and see if I can get his 2 cents on it. And
Anybody who says that they heard me on 8:20 a.m. is allowed to do that. Plain and simple. All right.
You hear that? All 7 of you are, don't do that to me, by the way, because
I'll forward my calls to you.
I will be upset, and that won't be fun.
Joey, will you help people when they're in the process of looking? Will you help them with the questions that they're going to have regarding a mortgage and how to get ready for it? So, because I know this happens. I know people get, they think everything's going smooth, and all of a sudden we're a week or 2 out from closing day, and then there's like 8,614 different problems that occur.
I don't know what a problem is before closing day, but it ain't got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I get that, Joey. And, you're not involved in the mortgage, but when I'm talking to people, I get phone calls from them afterwards saying, yeah, we didn't get the deal. The financing fell through.
Are you serious?
Yes! I wish I
Oh
was
my
joking.
God.
But it usually has something to do with, and I'm going to blame the mortgage broker. If you don't actually make sure there's stuff there and you pawn it off on an underwriter, I'm sorry, that's just mean. You're putting somebody
Dude,
through such an emotional thing. I don't.
My
this is
favorite
not-
one is when I get a call and someone says the VA said no. The VA said no. I'm like, the VA didn't say
doesn't say
no.
no.
You got lied to real early in the process is what happened.
Joey, the VA is the one who makes all these loans. Everyone knows that.
Oh yeah, no, we send everything to underwritten directly by the VA because they have all the resources and time in the world.
Can you
know?
imagine how
I
that
thought
would
it was
be?
Joe Biden that does that.
Oh my goodness gracious, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what the sticker on the gas pump said.
Biden did this. He does all the VA mortgages and approves them personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine, Joey, if the VA actually was the one responsible for all of that, all of that work?
But how do we
Yeah, it
educate people, though?
It would be hilarious. They are responsible for it on prior approval loans. So there are certain situations where the VA does actually underwrite files, but not often. Not often.
So how do you
dude,
get
oh
that
my
out there
God.
on how important that is, Joey? How do you let people
Yeah,
know?
the only right now because of my very limited resources, because all my resources are now a Cybertruck. I have to.
It is a
I
nice
just-
looking Cybertruck, by the
It's
way.
It is-
video, man.
it
The
is
only
not.
thing, the only tool I have to compete with those conglomerates is video and past clients, pumping my video. Like that's literally the only lever I have to pull right now. I feel like maybe over time, like this stupid brand grows and I can hire more people
It's
that
not a
think
stupid
like me
brand.
and work like me. Yeah, well, I'm very self-deprecating. It's probably one of my superpowers.
The VA loan nerd is
but-
awesome.
I'm a fan. I'm a
I'm
fan.
a fan.
Good. It's
Yeah.
good to believe in yourself.
A or the?
Uh,
Yeah, I'm
the.
giving you a
Did you
little
say
bit of
A or
poop.
B?
Sorry. I'm
Just
a
like
fan
it's-
too. So now you got more than one.
It's the VA loan nerd on the
Oh,
HomeBuyer's
geez.
Hour.
That is the worst Chicago accent I've ever heard.
We broadcast out of a garage.
He's working on it. He'll
He's
be there.
not. He's working on it, but he's going in the wrong direction. You know,
Uh,
he's the
yeah,
smartest, he's the
we're-
smartest guy in the room
we're-
for crying out loud.
We're all sitting here bemoaning the fact that we haven't yet conquered the our each individual businesses. It's like, take a step back for a second. You know that you're never crotch session this. Yeah, that's a good point. Look, you never. No one out there in the history of business has won business, right? Like you don't win. Like there is no. You don't hit the finish line. You never. You never
Diversify.
declare yourself the winner. There's never not something more, something else you want to do, some other thing you want to try. That's kind of part of what makes it worth doing is that, you don't just go, well, I've done it all. You may at a given point in time have that thought come across your mind, and the next moment you'll be like, oh, you know what? And then you're off to the races again. So I would say that what we're really talking about is processes. We're talking about how to get to that next little step on the way up to the next level. And if everything I've said is nonsense and it doesn't work out, then you go, well, he didn't know what he was talking about, and you try something else.
Well, that's me, and I call that spaghetti. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of spaghetti at the wall. If it sticks, I'm going to keep doing it. If it doesn't, I try something else.
Do you survey your clients after the fact as far as like, how did you find me? How did you, different things? You take down demographics.
Yeah.
Do you take down, hey, have you ever seen me on, this, and this platform?
Yeah. It's surprising how that changes, and I really like the fact that you asked that. So originally, when we started marketing, we did most of our marketing on Yelp. So most of our business came through that direction, right? Tons of reviews and makes people want to choose you. I was spending a lot of money on that, And then we started marketing on Google AdWords, all right, because that came open to our service industry. And that was so much cheaper, still got me the same thing. We still have a ton of reviews, so I was getting a lot of business coming in that way. And then all of a sudden starting this radio show, you know, and I will confess, the only reason why I started this is I decided that there are quality real estate brokers out there that I want to build a relationship with, all right? Not everybody is how, you know, acts the way that I am prejudiced against real estate agents are. You know, they don't all act that way. There's some very good, ethical people that really want to help when somebody buys a home. And I want to build relationships with those people.
Can you name all the bad ones real quick?
I did it real quick.
That was awesome. Good job.
All right, I learned how to do that in all those,
I'd
you know,
try-
technical drug commercials at the end. This could kill you and everything else. You know?
I tried to chuck the grenade at him. He chucked it right back. Well done.
I do what I can. So, and now I'm seeing that Google is number one. Real estate brokers is now number two on our list of how we get our referrals. Surprisingly, Yelp dropped down to number 4, and we still get a lot of business off of that. But here's one that the boomers don't know about, Reddit. And it is amazing. And I actually started not marketing on it, but I started participating in it. And again, it's a great platform to just help somebody and give free advice. And if they're thankful for it, they're going to want to build a relationship with you.
Yeah, people surprising. Well, maybe not so. It's so. Right. Let me start over. Maybe it's not so surprising, but people do tend to look toward you know, Reddit posts and things on Reddit with more. It's got a higher measure of trustworthiness than a lot of other places. I
And
think
people tell me it's because that it's incognito.
Well, it's self-moderated, right? So each post gets up votes or down votes, and that ranks it where, you know, where it's going to appear, how high up in the on the page, or, you know, whatever, page 1, page 2. The comments likewise, and so the good comments, you know, are meant to you know, moderate. The good comments go to the top, the bad comments go to the bottom, and you know, it's plugging into this thing called the wisdom of the masses, right? The more people you can get data from, the more the outliers, good or bad, fall to the wayside, and you can reach more of a consensus. And the consensus is usually going to lead you in the right direction. And so that's kind of where Reddit has its, you know, I guess I'm thinking out loud here, but it gains a measure of trustworthiness. Obviously, it's got its own biases, and you know, but just by virtue of who is regularly on Reddit is going to have its own sort of, you know, it's going to color things in a certain way. But definitely a good place to find good information, better than Google these days.
I would agree, because I think people are more likely to be blunt, honest, you know, and share their opinions without worrying about offending people on Reddit,
well,
just because you don't know who it is. And why are you grinning?
For better or for worse, right?
For better or for
you know,
worse.
the trolls out there, they use that's their favorite aspect of it. But again, the trolling, one would expect troll comments to be buried because they will not be demonstrated in the long run to be trustworthy.
And that's the case. When people throw the truth, they throw the truth. I mean, Joey, you have your personal passion to help veterans. You want to help policemen. You want to help firemen. You want to help heroes. All right? And you focus a lot of your attention in that direction. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, attend a lot of like golf outings, and you sponsor these things, and you get involved in the communication with everybody else. But that's your niche. Is that wrong?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I really built when I got back into mortgage, was just being around the people that I was already around, but now adding like, hey, oh, by the way, I'm doing mortgages, and I'm kind of crazy about getting things closed, you know? So, yeah, that was
Crazy good.
That's just how it got started for me. So, and just being present, so being at everything, so people start seeing your face, then they see your face again, then they see your face. It becomes repetition. And now I go to the state conference every year for the new union firefighter. I don't know if you know this exists. They just said, I think this is their 4th annual. But the new member conference, if you have less than 5 years at a union fire department, your union can sponsor you to go. In Springfield, it's awful. Or the new union officer. But they host this thing, and part of the new member conference is financial literacy. So I present to all the new people who are sponsored to go and talk about not buying that, lift kit F-150 with a Carolina lean and all that nonsense.
Bruh, I want a
What's a
Hellcat.
Carolina lean? I want to know.
I want a Hellcat, and I don't care what it costs.
Yeah, I got an F-150. What are you saying?
It's when you got the raised the raised rear on it.
You can do that?
Or is it the raised front? Yeah, it's one of the two. I'm going to pull it up. But just don't go waste your money because you have your first big girl job, and then you're not able to buy a house because eventually your life is going to change, and now your truck is preventing you from buying a house. And it's a terrible decision. So try to avoid the starter kit.
And right there is something maybe we should postpone till next week. But, same thing. I had a conversation about solar panels and leasing and everything else. But you're right. The more loans you take and the more loans that people have to buy, the smaller house you end up with. And right now, the prices are going up so much it gets difficult. But we are running out of time, Joey. For that, I apologize. If you don't mind, give us your contact information again, please.
Joey Matthews, VA Loan Nerd. You can find me at thevalonernerd.com across all the social medias as at the VA Loan Nerd. You can call or text me at 630-235-2405.
And
Patrick, please.
I would like everyone to take away from this conversation: visibility is blew that one. Visibility. Can you cut that? Make it sound like I actually sound like not right. Visibility is profitability. Patrick Loftus, real estate lawyer. Find me on Instagram, Loftus_law. On TikTok, Loftus Law.
And my name is Charlie Belfontaine, and I own Chicagoland Home Inspectors. Our website is www.thehomeinspectors, that's plural, O-R-S, and it's a .com. And again, stop in there, get our phone number, reach out to me if you're buying a house. I would rather, talk to you for free before you actually commit to signing a contract on anything else. Because if you're going to get yourself into a situation where you don't want to be in, then why go through the hassles of spending all that money plus the emotional roller coaster? I'd like to give a special thank you to Devin. He was in the studio with us today. He just makes everything sound good. And again, my name is Charlie, and I am out.